everybody, welcome to today's live tutorial. Today I'm going to be walking you through a full face of makeup on my gorgeous model Alyssa. Welcome to the studio. And I'm going to be sharing with you all my tips as a professional makeup artist, how I naturally sculpt the face and enhance the features without going too crazy, and just some little tips and tricks that I like to do that really make a huge difference. So before I get started on the makeup, we're going to prime Alyssa's eyes. So I actually like to use Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. It does a really good job of concealing everything on the lids and giving me a really nice blank canvas to start with. I also like that it dries down quite matte, so it really helps the eyeshadows stay. So looking at Alyssa, when I had her sit in my chair, she has really beautiful golden and caramel and sort of amber undertones. She has some nice, really pretty golden blonde highlights. Her eyes, when she opens them, I'm working on them right now, are, I would say they're like an amber color. What do you call them, Alyssa?
I just say brown, but I know they're a little bit lighter of a brown.
I'll let you open now. Go ahead and open. Yeah, they're beautiful. They're definitely like a light brown. There's like a lot of amber flecks, some gold, some yellow. They're very pretty. So I'm going to use all of those tones in the makeup today. That is my first tip. Generally, when I'm looking at people's coloring, that's what I do. I look at the hair and the eyes and then obviously the skin tone, and that tells me, go ahead and close, what is going to look best on my client or my model. A lot of people get really hung up on, am I a warm, am I a cold, what color are my veins, what color is going to look good. But really it's quite simple. If you just kind of go with hair color and the eye color, and then you can read the skin color and go from there. Okay, so I just set that with the translucent setting powder just to take away some of the tackiness of the concealer. That way when I go in with my eyeshadow, it's going to have a nice smooth canvas. It's not going to pick up shadow in a splotchy way. So going in first with Alyssa's eyes, what I like to do, I like to start sculpting the face with where I place my eyeshadow. So looking at Alyssa, I want to do a lot of eyeshadow kind of coming up this way. She's a really pretty eye space, so I want to bring some color up towards the brow. And I'm going to apologize right now for this the self-tanner on my hands. I tanned last night and I like fell asleep strangely on my hands, so I'm sorry. They are what they are. Okay, so what I like to do, this is a really good trick for sculpting the eyes and sort of changing the shape or bringing attention to different areas. I actually like to start with a bronzer no matter the makeup look that I'm doing. So this is an Hourglass bronzer. Hourglass has fantastic bronzers for this. This one's in a palette. This is the Ghost palette, but they sell these little individual ones, which I will link for you guys below. So I just like to start with that actually all over the lid. It gives a really pretty wash of color. And then I can wing it out like this. And then I like to bring a little bit of dimension in the face right here. So bring it up into the eyebrow, wing it out. And because it's such a light, natural color, you can really go to town with it to sort of establish your base. So the reason I like the Hourglass bronzers is because they're quite sheer and they're a little bit reflective too. I'm going to kind of turn you, Alyssa. So because it's sheer and not opaque, it's just going to go on a lot more naturally. And if you guys are new to my channel, we live stream the majority of our tutorials. So they're uploaded later as a normal video, but if you are with us live, you can say hi in the chat. You can ask questions. Okay, so now we're going to go in. I pulled a couple palettes. I'm going to be pulling from some different things just to get the colors that I want today. But we're going to start with the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. If you have, like Alyssa, if you have some golds in your eyes, just like kind of those amber colors, this Too Faced Peachy palette is really pretty. This has like a perfect assortment of peaches that are quite flattering on the face. So I think I'm going to go in with this color called Fresh Picked. And you can sort of see, go ahead and open your eyes, Alyssa. You can sort of see there's like little flecks in her eyes that are similar to this color. Maybe a little bit darker, kind of more like that one. but they'll look really flattering on her eyes. So I switched brushes. I sized down to a little bit smaller. Good and close to me. And with this, I'm going to concentrate more on the outer part of her eye. So what I like to do is start near the lash line to start building some depth. And I'm going to flick it out slightly. And now I'm going to start going up into the crease and meet into that brow bone area. So Alyssa has a nice crease, so I'm actually just going in her actual crease. If you have more hooded eyes, I would go above where your natural crease would be to sort of open your eyes. And another trick that is really great when you're going in with eyeshadows is to build. So I love to layer. Everything looks a lot more natural. It's going to look a lot more blended and a lot more flattering. Just going to go up into the eye. Okay, go ahead and open for me. You can kind of see how that's really, really playing up Alyssa's eye color. Like it's making this eye with more of like the peachy shadow on it. Just looks a little bit brighter. You're starting to see those pretty flecks in her eyes. Go ahead and close again. We'll go to the other side. Same thing. Turn you just a little bit, Alyssa. Alyssa, do you wear makeup very often?
I don't go out without it.
Oh, awesome. Well, today's the first then. You can't be without it. That's what all the models tell me. They're like, I never go anywhere without makeup, and I felt coming here. What do you like to do? What's your go-to?
For my everyday look, I just do like foundation, concealer. I never go without bronzer, and then I usually just put like bronzer on my eyelids just for like a everyday look. To make it like a more night out look, I just go a lot harder with the bronzer, and then a little darker with the eyes. And I always wear eyeliner on the bottom if I'm going out.
I love it. Savior looks mastered. I'm so all about bronzer in the eyes. So you kind of do what I do.
Yeah.
What bronzer do you like?
I just got the, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but
that's totally fine.
Anastasia?
Yeah.
That one. I just got that one, and I am obsessed with it. Besides that one, I really like the Frankie Rose.
Oh, I've heard that one's good. I haven't tried it.
It's really good.
I love Anastasia. All her stuff is so good. Okay, we're going to go in. This is the NARS Skin Deep palette. So this is quite neutral. It's definitely on the more bronzy side. So it's going to play really well with the colors that we're already doing. But I'm going to mix these two. This one's more gold and this one's like a peachy gold. Okay, go ahead and close to me. Just want a little bit of a shimmer on her lid just to add some life. So anytime you go in with a shimmer, it obviously is light reflecting. That's what makes it shimmery. And it's going to bring forward parts of the eye. That's why we like to highlight areas of the face that we want to protrude or bring forward. So we're going to highlight this area, forehead, chin, and then if you highlight this part of the eye, it kind of gives your eye more dimension. And it gives you that really pretty, like, bright-eyed look. So that's why oftentimes you'll see people doing shimmer on that area. And these are quite subtle shimmers. They're not glittery at all. Just going to do that on the lid. Okay, go ahead and open for me. And that is very natural. Like I said, this is a shimmer. It's not a glitter. It's not metallic. It's just a very light shimmer. So it's just going to give her eyes a little bit of glow, a little bit of brightness. Now I'm going to move into a darker color. This would be a great, like, everyday look. You can already see your eyes are sort of starting to take shape, and they're really going to come together once we do the liner and lashes. But to kind of further sculpt a little bit, I'm going to add a little bit more color on the outer side. And I actually really love the way this palette is looking on her eyes. I feel like it has like the perfect peachy colors for her. So I started with this Fresh Pick color. So now I'm just going to go in to the one that's essentially that same shade, just darker, and that's Peach Cobbler. So we'll go into that. A lot of times I like to size down on my brush. So this is another fluffy blending brush, but it's just a little bit smaller. And that's a really good tip for you guys too. when you're going in and you're doing little detail work, pay attention to the brush you're using, because the brush shapes are created to do certain things, and it can really help you out if you're using them correctly. Okay, so this is just a little bit more vibrant, a little bit darker, so we're just going to go right in that crease again. Maybe slightly bring it up in this area. But see, she's closed right now, but see how it's like, it's kind of the same thing. It just gives a little bit more dimension the darker you go. That's why, like Alyssa was saying, when she goes out like at night, she's going to do more eyeliner and more bronzer on her lid. So more color, more depth just adds more dimension to the face. We're going to keep this look fairly natural for you guys. I just want to show you what deeper colors can do, but these are still quite light. Nothing too dark. And I think that's what a lot of people tend to do, is they'll go in, like, if you want to contour, you want to change your features, or you want to look, you know, like you but better, maybe you'll start grabbing those darker colors to contour with and to sculpt your eye, but they're not always necessary. So today I'm going to be using a lot of those more medium colors, so they look more wearable, they look more natural, but they do amazing magical things to the face. So this is a gel liner. This is by Anastasia. This is the waterproof gel color. And gel liner is fantastic when you want to manipulate your features slightly. You can really do a lot with it and be artistic. So I'm going to go in with a flat brush. We're going to take the gel liner. So this is a flat brush. It's a lot like an angled brow brush, like the same thickness, and it's flat and pretty stiff, but it's straight across instead of being angled. So this is really good for tight lining if you're into that. So I'm going to have Alyssa look down, and then I'm just going to lift her lid a little bit and just press this liner right into her lashes. Okay, kind of look at the brush for me, Alyssa. Look over this way. Good. I'm going to come in over here. Do you ever do eyeliner in this area?
Not on the top, only on the bottom.
On the bottom, you do the waterline.
I'll try to put like darker eyeshadow a little bit as eyeliner, but nothing too permanent.
Yeah, eyeliner or eyeshadow as eyeliner is really good. It's very natural. Okay, now look over this way for me. Good. So I have Alyssa just look the opposite direction of where my brush is going to come at her eyes, just because it's more comfortable. When you have to watch a brush come at your eye, it's very weird. So if you're a makeup artist working on a client, that's a good tip. If you're doing your own makeup, you obviously have to look where you can see it, but you can kind of look into the mirror and then turn your face and go in that way with the brush, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's called tight lining. So what this does is it really adds some very natural drama to the eye. It looks super natural. You can't tell it's there, but it just gives a lot of definition. So now I'm going to have Alyssa close, and we're just going to do a nice line on top. And the way Alyssa's eyes are shaped, when her eyes are open, you still see her lid. Her eyes are not hooded. And so I can do thicker line of liner. I don't have to go too skinny. And this is a good brush, this flat brush, to do this, because you can go ahead and just press into the lash line, and it's going to distribute the color really quickly for you. And this particular flat brush is a little bit wider than my usual preference for flat brushes, so you don't get, I'm going to hold it sideways so you guys can see. So you don't get as precise of a line. The thicker the brush is, the wider. Obviously, the wider and more diffused your line of liner is going to be with that brush, which is good or bad depending on your preference. So if you want a really precise little line, which I'm going to want in just a second on her tear duct area, you're going to want a skinnier brush that's more firm. But if you want a nice diffused little line, you're going to want a fatter brush like this. I would consider this like a fat detailed brush. And the more sort of fluffy it is, where it's like not as stiff, it's gonna naturally blend. So like Alyssa's line of liner, when she opens, it doesn't look like a really sharp line of liner. It's already like buffed a little bit, which I like, in that this brush helped do it. But now I want to go into her tear duct area, and I want to do like a really skinny line of liner that's really gonna make the eyes pop. This is like the best thing to do if you are getting pictures done or anything like that. Do this little trick. It works on every eye shape. It's so pretty. So we're gonna switch brushes though, because the brush I was just using prior would not be detailed enough. And actually Anastasia, she has the best brushes for this. Like her angled brow brushes are very skinny, like very narrow and very precise. So I'm just gonna go on with a little bit of that. And I really like, I'm gonna have Alyssa look at the brush, kind of follow it over there, perfect. So what that did when I moved her eye is it flattened out this part of the lip, the lid, not the lip, so I can go in. I can just draw a nice little line. Perfect. Okay, same thing over here. Down and over, good. Okay, so I like the Anastasia gel liner because it dries nice and matte for me and it's waterproof, but it doesn't get too dry too fast. So when I put it on a little spatula and I'm working with it, I don't have to keep getting a new spatula and keep applying the gel, if that makes sense. A lot of cream products tend to dry out really fast. Okay, look over this way, good. And sometimes if they don't dry out too fast, then they never, they don't dry down enough on the face and they'll tend to smudge, if that makes sense. But this one's like a good mix of it. Okay, so now I'm gonna have Alyssa look up, and I'm really lightly just gonna touch my brush on this inner eye corner just to define that a little bit, good. And I do not like a lot there. So I'm going to take a teeny little Q-tip and just clean up under the eyes. And a lot of times you're going to get a little bit of transfer in this area anyways. Like the top liner is going to come down to the bottom. It already is. So I'm just going to work with that. Okay, we're going to go back to our little brush. So this is our original flat brush, the one that's a little bit wider. I'm going to have Alyssa look up. Do a little bit of liner, the bottom waterline. And you could do a brown too. A brown would be really pretty in this area. So I'm doing little swiping motions instead of pressing motions. So what the swiping is going to do, and you can blink a couple times if you need to, you're doing really good. What the swiping motions do is it's going to diffuse it a little bit. It's going to be softer. If I do, so let me show you the difference between the two. This, having her look up and doing a pressing motion, would deposit a lot of pigment and be nice and defined and harsh. If I do little swiping motions, it's going to be softer. So I don't want the bottom waterline to be too intense with this look. If I'm doing a smoky eye, I do. So I have, in my kit, I have a couple different sizes of these pointy Q-tips. I have really tiny ones and these bigger ones, just depending on different things that I'm gonna do. They're really good for cleaning up under the eye. These bigger ones are from Target, and then the tiny ones you can get from a makeup supply store, or Amazon has them too. I think that's where I got them last time. Okay, so next we're gonna clean up under her eyes. So I'm going to take, this is micellar water, and just a little cotton pad. Clean up under Alyssa's eyes. So I'll show you guys on the other side. This is one of the benefits of doing the eyes first, is you can sculpt the shadow further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up underneath her eyes, and then I'm going to go to this side of the eye, and I want to bring the shape about like that. So I'll go right under the corner of her eye and I'll swipe up slightly. And you don't want to go too high, or you'll make the eye look smaller. Like if you were to go like that and meet the eyebrow, you'd make the eye look small. But if you go like this, just slightly upward, if that makes sense, so not straight out, just slightly up, you're gonna make the eye look bigger, more open. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the chat right now. give it a second to load. Say hello to you guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Oh, thank you. Someone said my hair is pretty. I never wear it straight, but I wore it straight today. It took me a long time to dry. I didn't have time to curl it. Hi, Megan. Hi, Tori. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Oak. Okay, do you prefer to do eyes before complexion? I do. I like to do the eyes first, just so I can clean up underneath them. I don't have to worry about fallout. It's generally my preference, but neither is wrong. Okay, we will come back to lashes. Okay, so looking at Alyssa's eyes right now, we did like a very light eyeshadow and then we did black liner, and I want a little bit more smudging on the top. If you do like a really defined line of liner, sometimes it can make the eyes look smaller because you have circled them in. So if you don't have enough depth and enough color on the lids, it's just going to bring the eyes closed. So I like to pair a nice defined line of liner with some dimension on the lid. And you don't have to go very dark, but you do have to do some blending. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into this Too Faced palette. And I've used almost entirely this whole palette for the look. And now I'm going to go in with this color called Peachy Tart. So I could use either of these browns. This one has more warmth in it, so I'm going to start with this one. If I want it to be a little bit darker, I'll go into this one called Chocolate Dipped. But we'll start with this one. This one's Peach Tart. And this is a teeny cute little shader brush. This one's really good for this. Go ahead and close. We're just going to wiggle it like right above the lash line. Kind of doing like little circles. So you could do this like, I'm probably going to have to clean under her eyes again because I'm doing more eyeshadow up here, but sometimes I like to clean under the eyes and see everything, like see how things are really coming together, and then I'll touch up the cleaning if I need to. And I'm going to wing this out a little bit. Okay, go ahead and open for me. See how this side's like a little bit softer? It's not as harsh as this one. Like just that teeny bit of shadow made a really big difference. Go ahead and close. Can add a little bit more, just another layer of it. And I like to blend as I go. Like instead of brushing on my line of shadow and then blending it, I just blend it as I go. So same thing on this side. Can you guys see? Is my head in the way? Trying to turn Alyssa a little bit. I told her to keep her head forward, and you're doing a great job. It's funny. That's one of the only thing I tell the models before we start. I'm like, okay, just if I'm not working on you, keep your head nice and forward, and almost everybody forgets. But I feel like you get a gold star, Alyssa. You are remembering.
Perfect.
Okay, that's looking great. I'm going to have, if Kelly can't, I'm going to have her grab me lashes because I didn't pull any. So they're just in one of those top drawers over there. Just grab me like whatever you see, and then we'll pick one. Okay, so let's go on to complexion. So we're going to do complexion, and then we will do brows. A lot of times because we're live, I start with brows done, and I know you guys love to see them. So today we will show you the brows. And I start with them done before, just to kind of get them out of the way. But I really love to do them towards the end, actually. I feel like I go in with a lighter hand on them if I do it that way. You can kind of see how they're affecting the face. So when I matched Alyssa today, I mixed a couple foundations for her because she's more on the fair side.
Mm-hmm.
Do you care which ones you have, Jules?
No, just pull me some, not those.
No.
Oh.
Pick those.
She's
One
like,
of these?
Kelly's like, do you care which ones? I'm like, no. And I'm like, no, not those.
There's so many lashes.
Pull me, just keep grabbing. Just keep giving me lashes and we'll find some. I just did another lash order. I was shopping all the sales yesterday. And there was not a sale on lashes, but I still bought a ton because I'm out.
The lashes were over here.
Oh, those are pretty good. Thanks, Kelly. Kelly's like, it's so funny, like all the lashes you can have, and they all are so different.
So, pick the wrong lady to pick the lashes.
Okay, so I'm just going in with, I'm with the complexion color. So it's interesting. You'll see like right now as I'm applying this to her face, it doesn't look like the correct color at all. It's a lot more yellow than her skin on her face. And this is something, if you have fair skin or even like you have a little bit of redness in your face, this is probably the hardest thing that makes it tricky to foundation match, because we want to match our face, right? And so you'll go in with like a very pink color, but then it's not going to match your chest. So Alyssa, and this happens a lot of time with fair skin, she definitely has like pink undertones, but a lot of yellow too, like in her chest and her arms and stuff. Like, have you noticed that when you tan, you actually kind of go more golden?
Yeah.
Do you tan when you're in the sun?
Sometimes. It's usually like a burn and then turns into a tan.
Okay.
I just usually fake tan instead.
Same, as made clear by my hands today. I promise I'm a lot better at self-tanner. I was so weirded out, like, check it out. It's so, I shouldn't even show the camera. It's like a weird line. It's like, what even happened when I was sleeping? I don't know. But yeah, no, fake tan is the way to go. I usually do, like, I'll do a makeup brush with my self-tanner on my hands, and then it always, like, looks so good. But I didn't last night. I was, like, so tired. I just rubbed it in. I didn't even need the fake tan either, because I'm wearing like this long sleeve turtleneck. Like, I could have done any foundation on my face and you would never know what color my body was. I love fair skin though. I think it's really pretty. Okay, so we're blending this in. So like I said, so I mixed up a color that was quite yellow for Alyssa today. And let me show you guys the shades, because I always know those of you that are fair skin or work on fair skin, you guys always ask me the shades. So let me show you what I mixed. So I mixed, this is NARS, this is the shade Vienna. I don't know why, this is my most used shade. Like, I always run out of this one. Most used in like the lighter to medium tones is Vienna. It just is like always a match for people, especially if you like kind of those bronzy colors. It just has a really good undertone. So I like to use this as my base. And then because Alyssa, I felt like had some yellow mixed in with her pink. This one looked like a little orange on her, obviously, and it's too dark. So I mixed in this one. This one's called Gobi, and this one's quite yellow. It's very, very yellow, I would say, is the undertone. So I mixed these two about half and half, and it's really working well. Like, now that the foundation's on, it looks like such a great match. It's really working with her chest area and her arms. But I didn't want to go, this one would be too light for her and too yellow. Like, this one just has a straight yellow undertone. This one has a little bit more of mix-ins. Like, it can pull a little pink, it can pull a little gold depending on who you put it on. And I felt like she needed that because she has pink in her skin. I didn't want to just pull a yellow foundation. She definitely needed a little of that mixed in. And we're going to contour too, so
I
you guys
actually
will
use
see.
that foundation.
Do you use that foundation? No way, that's funny. What shade do you use?
I'm not sure, but it looks really light.
Does it? It looks light in the bottle. It's such a good foundation. Do you like it?
I love it.
I feel like it gives such great coverage, but it feels like you're not wearing a ton.
It's super like watery and lightweight. I use that one, and then I like the Frankie Rose for when I go out.
For when you go out, it's like a little bit more full coverage.
It's really full coverage, and then I get it a little darker.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I feel like when you go out at night, you can go like a little bit darker on your foundation because you're just under lights and stuff like that, or I don't know. Especially when you were saying you'd go more bronzy and stuff. Like that. Okay, so that is looking good. I'm just going to touch up little areas of her face that I feel like I want a teeny bit more coverage, and I'm just going to stipple the product on versus buffing it on. I'm going to turn you even. Actually, let me turn the chair a little bit. There we go. I never can see this side of the face when I'm on camera. And guys, I always do the ear. If I am doing a client, you don't have to do this on yourself if you want, but if I'm doing somebody, I'm going to do the ear because it's just way too weird if you have like a line of foundation. And not a lot. Like, there's really nothing on my brush now, but I'll go like near the ear, and then I always go down a little bit on the neck. And then sometimes Alyssa's skin tone is actually quite even on her chest. Most people are quite red, like right there. Like, they'll just have a little spot where like the sun would hit, like where you would freckle or something like that. But you're really even, which is awesome because a lot of people, it's like your face is one color, your neck is one color, your chest is like 5 colors and one, you know what I mean? But like, she's quite even. So I'm not going to do anything on her chest. And honestly, I would say like day to day, doing makeup on your chest really isn't that practical. I don't think most people do that. Like I don't think most people do a nice full coverage on their face and then do their chest and their arms. You know what I mean? Like maybe if you want to, that's so fabulous. Like do it. But I don't think it's super practical. But if I was doing somebody's makeup, I do because they're probably going to be photographed or whatever. So I would like address everything. So I do want to give you that tip if you're doing your makeup for something or like it is a day where you want everything done. But I think day to day, you're fine. You can be, it's natural for our skin to have variance in color. Okay, so that is looking really beautiful on her skin. It's a great match. We're going to do some contouring and then I'm going to highlight under her eyes. So I'm going to use, we'll just stay in the NARS family because I like the way it works on Alyssa's skin. So I'm going to use the shade Vanilla. This is the Creamy Radiance Concealer. So this looks quite light, but Vanilla has a really beautiful undertone. So it works really good for highlighting. It has a little bit of a pinkiness to it. And this is super great for the under eye area because you get a really great top of coverage, but you don't get that cakiness. So I carry a couple different concealers that I like to use. And one of them is Tarte Shape Tape, which I love, but I feel like Shape Tape on some people is just a little heavy. And this one, the NARS, is just perfect. You get a really great finish. So I'm using a fluffy brush. It's actually an eyeshadow brush, but it's going to work really well for what we're doing. And I'm just really lightly, I'm painting it on, and then I'm sort of stippling, like doing little presses into the skin, just to get that in there. And I'm going to highlight under Alyssa's eyes. So what you want to do, if you are doing a concealer that is lighter, you always want to bring it down onto the cheek. You always want to hit those like high points of the face. Otherwise, it would honestly just look so bizarre. So I feel like a lot of times in tutorials, they're like, oh, use a concealer that's 2 shades lighter, which I am doing, but I am using it as a highlighter. So I am very strategically going in and adding it to areas of her face. If you were to go in with a concealer just to conceal, that's like your only purpose, you're not trying to highlight, match the skin. You could maybe go half shade lighter if you want, but honestly just match the skin, because if you're just putting it like in these areas where people tend to be a little purple or something, if you go lighter there, you're not going to get coverage on like the under eye circles. So let's like talk about it. So the 2 reasons you conceal under your eyes is you're number 1 concealing, or number 2 you're highlighting. So on Alyssa, I'm doing more highlighting. She really doesn't have much to conceal under the eye, so we're just highlighting the face. So you can see on this side of the face, it sort of brought the cheekbone up and forward and lifted. It looks very bright, especially when I go in with the contouring. It's going to balance the lightness of this concealer. And so on this eye, you have a little makeup hair on your, or yeah, brush hair on your face. Let's say on this side, we just wanted to conceal. So a lot of people have like some little freckles from the sun, or they'll have like just little veins, little dark circles. Alyssa doesn't. She has a really great under eye area, but the skin here is so thin, sometimes you'll just see like the veins under the eyes or whatever. So if you wanted to conceal, you would really only do kind of this area and then maybe a little bit right here. So if you wanted to do that, you're going to want a concealer that matches the skin, because why go lighter? Especially when you're trying to color correct. If you go too light with your color correct, it looks sort of gray. Like it gives it this weird like look on the skin. So little tips for you guys. But I generally do like to brighten the face with the concealer. I really like if you go on my Instagram or my Facebook and you look at my before and afters, I really like to brighten this area of the face. I feel like it's just really beautiful. So I generally do on most people. So if I'm concealing and brightening, I'll either use like something like Tarte Shape Tape where I get ultra coverage, or I'll color correct prior, and then I'll go in and brighten. Okay. Let's see, we're going to highlight the nose just a little. The same concealer. This is a really good shade for fair skin, the Vanilla. It's really pretty. Okay. All right, so I'm kind of going to let that sit, and then I'm going to go in with my contour. Oh, Kelly got me so many lashes. Kelly, you're the best.
Thank you.
Look what she brought. So we'll do some lashes. Oh, these are the ones. We're going to do Dimmy Wispies. Kelly, you're the best. Okay, so these are Dimmy Wispies, originally made by Ardell, I believe. They're fabulous, but you can get, like, these are called D-Wispies. I get these from my makeup supplier. You go on Amazon and search Dimmy Wispies or D-Wispies. Many brands carry this style. It's such a good style. So this is like magic to the eyes, but so natural. It's like your lashes, but better. So these are very wispy at the ends, hence the name. So they're very natural, and they're not too long. Like, they're actually quite short for a false lash, but long compared to your own lashes. So these are going to be more similar to like a natural lash if you had really long lashes, and they're longer at the ends. So they give you kind of that cat eye. So we're going to use these today. I'm going to cut them probably. You know what's funny though? So almost all lashes I have to trim for people unless they have really big eyes. And I think manufacturers do that on purpose. Like, it's not good to have a lash that's too small. It makes your eyes look little. So it's like better for them to give you a lot of lash and you have to trim it. So pretty much all lashes you're going to have to trim. But the D-Wispies are just kind of natural all around. Like, they're the only lash where I really don't, like, go ahead and open for me. I'm not going to have to trim it. Go ahead and look down. So what I like about lashes is they all come in a pack, and the lashes are stuck to the pack, right? So they come with like a teeny bit of glue on them already. So I just use that glue and I'll stick it to the lid, and I see how it looks on the person or where it needs to go. And then you know what they're going to look like, how much you need to cut. We're using brand new lash glue on you today. How exciting. This is Callus lash glue. And I will link everything for you guys. I have been so good at linking my products because I used to not. I would just kind of tell you what I was using, but then I'd always get so many comments and telling me to link the products. So I will for you happily. It's hard because, like, we're live streaming right now, so if you guys are watching us live, I don't always know. Like, sometimes I'll pull what I'm going to use, but I don't know. Like, a lot of times it's as I'm going, I'll make little tweaks, so I have to list it after. So if you're watching live, usually it takes me like an hour to make the thumbnail and list all the products. Go say hi to my baby before she goes to bed, and then the link will be up. So generally when you see like the thumbnail change, you'll know the products are there. But I'm getting much faster.
Do you have lash extensions?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like them?
I love them. Have you had them before?
I have. I wasn't a fan.
You weren't?
No.
Don't close for me. Go ahead and just look down. What didn't you like about them?
My main thing was when I'm showering, I don't like water. I want to like rub my eyes on my towel.
Yes.
And I just felt like I couldn't, so I had water in my eyes all the time.
You know, it's so funny. Don't you feel like with lashes more water gets in your eye for some reason?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that whenever I first get them. I'm like, oh, I feel like water gets in my eye when I shower. Yeah, that's it. If you're an eye rubber or you like to, what you're saying, like just dry your face really good with a towel, like you can't.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer. So
and
sometimes
I didn't think they looked, like, I didn't want them to be too much, but I felt like they weren't enough. So I felt like my normal eyelashes looked better for me.
you have really thick natural lashes. Like, you have good ones.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're the type of person who would like a lash perm or something just to give you a lift.
Yeah.
Usually people do a tint with that, but honestly your lashes are quite dark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna fan this. So you want your glue to be nice and tacky. So I like to use the clear because it's a little bit blue, like a whitish kind of milky blue color when you first put it on, and then it starts to turn clear as it's ready to put on the eyes. I'm gonna check in with the chat again while this dries. Okay, oh, thank you, Cindy. Okay, and then Tori says, do you have any plans to do a tutorial for a more mature woman? So Tori, we do have somebody lined up, I think in a couple weeks, that has more mature skin. I like to try to hit a variety in my models of ages, skin tones, ethnicities, things like that, eye color, whatever, so you guys can really see. But I have a lot of mature tutorials on my channel actually. So when this video is live, if you comment on it, I'll link some for you. or you can just kind of search through my thumbnails on my channel. I have like a ton actually, but I will do more because I love working on mature skin too. It's fun. Okay, so we'll let those lashes fully dry and then we'll come back. So I'm going to do a little bit of contouring and then I'll show you guys how I do the brows. So now I have so many lashes on my table. I'm trying to move them out of the way. Thanks, Kelly. Okay, so let's do some contouring. Oh, Kelly's going to take them for me. Thank you. Here you go. You're the best. Okay, contouring. I really like Graftobian a lot for contouring. This is the Warm Palette number 3. I really love these shades, so I'll usually mix a couple. I'm going to pull a couple right now. And we'll contour for this. They've worked really well for me across all skin tones. So Alyssa's pretty fair. Not like fair porcelain, but definitely like on the light side, and these are going to look nice on her. And even on like my more deeper skin tones that I've done on my channel, I've used the darkest one in there and it still works really nicely. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a fluffy blending brush, mix a couple of these shades, and then we're just going to go right along the forehead and do little taps. And I'm not initially going to blend. I'm going to switch brushes. So I'm just going to get this on there. I'm going to turn Alyssa a little bit. Just tap it in. If you let it sit for a little bit, it's going to like deepen up a little bit and then you can blend it out without wiping it all away. So what I have liked to do lately is I will stop the contour about at the temple, because if you notice where I put the concealer, I flicked it out almost all the way to the temple, and I don't want to add a lot of dark there because it's going to bring in the face. I want to lift and open the eyes. So I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to come in under the cheeks. And let me show you guys something. So this works on almost every face shape. Is you're going to start the contour right at the top of the ear, and you're going to stop it about the brow. But this is what people tend to do, is they'll draw like the contour in the hollows of the cheek, if you can see that, but that brings the face down. So if I do a contour down low like that, it's not going to lift and sculpt the face, which is pretty much why we contour. Almost every face shape wants to lift and sculpt the face. So we're actually going to put the bronzer a little bit higher, especially since this is a bronzy look. Like if you're the type of person, and it sounds like Alyssa is, who likes to wear like a bronzer instead of a blush and just likes a bronzy look, you're gonna like your contour up higher. So I'm gonna put it there, but see how it lifts her cheekbones? It kind of meets the highlight that we did. That's the biggest thing I see when I do makeup lessons or something like that, is like we'll always talk about cheek contour placement. And almost always people are doing it in kind of like a weird spot. And it's like the little things, you guys. That's what this tutorial is about. Just like the little tweaking makes a massive, massive difference. I'm honestly so embarrassed by myself, Tanner. I'm so sorry. It like looks horrendous. I can't wash my own hands. It's making me very uncomfortable. Okay, so I love that. And then so oftentimes I will do the cheeks, I'll do the forehead, I'll do the nose, and then jaw is up to you. We'll do a little bit on Alyssa, but this is something where it's going to look so good in pictures. It's going to look good 2D, right? So like if you're watching a video and somebody's contouring, it's going to look great. If you see a photo and somebody really contoured their jaw, it's going to look great. But in real life, it doesn't always look great. And so I don't often like go to town, but usually you can do like a little bit of a shadow and it's going to look great. So generally, I'll just kind of do like what's left on my brush. Just a little bit, just to give the face some shape. I'll kind of work with, Alyssa has really nice natural bone structure, so I'm just kind of working with that, like sharpening the jawline. And this one, I'm not going to let it sit. I'm going to like buff as I go. And I'm actually going to go and take, this is my foundation brush. So I'm going to go and stipple that sort of over it, just to blend it a little bit. So when you do, I'm doing cream contour today because I really want to show you guys like placement and kind of the intricacies of where placing certain things does what for your face. if that makes sense. And when you do powder, you're blending and applying as you go. So I can explain it, but it's not as visually like dramatic as a cream contour. So when I do the cream, you guys can really see where I'm putting it. When I do the powder, you can sort of see it lightly transform, but because I prefer more of a natural look, it's hard to see. So that's why I'm doing cream today. You can get this exact same look with powder if you want. I personally think cream blends a little bit better than powder if you are trying to really sculpt the face and maybe doing a little more of a bronzy contoured look. It just gives you more of a gradient, if that makes sense. When you're going to cream, so cream concealer, cream foundation, cream contour, you're getting more of that gradient. When you're applying powders, you can still get the gradient, but it's hard. Like they don't melt into each other like a cream does. But you absolutely can do this entire look with just like a bronzer. I'll turn you a little bit. And these bronzers, the Graftobian palette, the warm palette that I used on Alyssa today, they're very warm. So it's a warmer contour. It looks very warm right now, but it's all gonna come together when I apply blush and lips and finish the eyes. For fair skin, if you're not going for that bronzy look, there's like something dark on that brush. It's a clean brush too. If you're not going for a bronzy look, you would probably not want a contour that is so bronzy. I really like the Huda Beauty, her fair shade in her cream bronzer is actually quite nice on like lighter skin, and it's not as warm, it's not as golden, it's more neutral. And then you can get cool palettes if you want like a true shadow, like a cool tone contour. They have those available, not from Huda, but from other companies. But I typically don't. I typically like them a little bit warmer. Okay, we're gonna do blush, and then we're gonna set her with powders. Move on to the lips, and we'll do some brows. So I love this shade. So these are the NARS liquid blushes. If you watch my channel, you know I love them. They're so great. So this one's in the shade Torrid. And we're just gonna hit like right above the contour and right under the highlight. And this is a really, really pretty, like peachy warm shade. I'm gonna go into her apples a little bit, but not focusing on the apples. I'm more focusing on adding some shape to her face. So I'm just gonna do it, like I said, above the contour and below the highlight. And I'm not doing a super large area. I like my blush a little bit more concentrated, a little bit more intentional. Okay, I can do a little bit on the, then when there's not much left on my fingers, I'll go a little bit there. Okay. All right, that is looking great. We're gonna do just a light dusting of powder. Alyssa said she was more dry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're just gonna more use powder for setting the face, not preventing oil really, because she's not really gonna get it. Okay, so we're gonna use a couple different brushes. Just gonna use a paddle brush. Go under your eyes. Go ahead and look up for me. So before you set the eyes, a lot of times I will immediately set the under eyes just to prevent any creasing. But if you don't, that's fine. You can let it sit before you set it, but make sure you eliminate any of the creases before you set it. Otherwise, you're just gonna lock in the creasing, if that makes sense. And all of our eyes have movement to them, so there's always potential creasing. Some people crease more than others. I'm just gonna lightly set her face. I also used a different under eye brush. I used that eyeshadow brush, which worked great, but I felt like it didn't melt it into the skin as well as the It Cosmetics one that I usually use. Okay, so now that we have that light wash of powder, I can go in with my bronzer. So this is the Hoola Benefit Bronzer. I really love the Hoola bronzers. So they have this limited edition. I actually think they made it permanent and they still sell it. If they do, I will link it. But they sell the Hoola bronzers in those like little ones, like the little quads, but this one is super giant, which I love because I feel like it's just easier to have that big thing to work with. So I'm just going to set with this the contour. And not much, but I'm also going to go over where like the contour and the highlight meet. This is looking so fantastic in person. It's like very blended. It's looking great. But I know my lights are so bright, they wash things out a little bit. So I like to add a little bit more contour to the face. You can do the chest if you want, a little bit on the neck. Okay, now let's do some highlighting. We're going to go into the Hourglass palette, and I'm just going to do, we'll see how much I do. We'll go in with this, and I just like to do all of these colors. Just go over on the face. Since Alyssa has more dry skin, you can typically get away with a lot more highlighting on someone with dry skin, because their pores tend to be smaller. They don't get oily. Okay, so I like the way that is looking. I also like, so this is the bronzer we used on the eyes earlier. Just gonna lightly dust that over the face. And then if I want extra shine, I will use, this is the Dior highlighting palette. This one's really good. That extra shine. So same brush. And I'll just mix in these colors. So this one's like uber shiny. I'll use this one to highlight the nose often, because I really like it. So I didn't cream contour the nose, which I often will do. I actually prefer that way of highlighting and contouring it, but I'll show you guys how I do it with a brush. So I actually really like the Hoola bronzer for the nose. It's a good color. And then I'll just take like a fluffy blending brush or an angled one or whatever and sort of pinch it. And then just lightly do a straight line. I'm gonna turn Alyssa a little bit. You guys probably can't see well, so I'll do this fast. When I do a cream contour, I do like a nice like sculpted nose. Like I'll really shape it how I want. When I do a bronzer like this, a powder, you can't, well you can do anything, but it's not my favorite way to get a really sculpted nose. I feel like it's more messy and it's less precise. And like I said, I just feel like when you contour and you sculpt with creams, you get such a nice blend and they really melt into the face and you can be so precise and you can really change features and things like that. But when you go in with powders, it's just a little bit trickier to get a nice blend. It's like, it's just more unpredictable where the powder is going to really pick up on the face. It's easier to get it splotchy, if that makes sense. So when I do a powder on the nose, it's more just to sort of give it like, not a sculpt, but just like a finish, if that makes sense. Like if you do a lot of contouring on the face and on the eyes and you just leave the nose alone, it can tend to look wider, even though the natural nose isn't. So it is nice just to do a little bit of like dimension on it. And then I top it with powder or foundation or whatever to make it look more natural. Okay, let's do a little bit of shading under the eyes and then we'll get into the lips. I'll show you guys a couple tricks with the lips. So I'm just going to go back into this Too Faced palette and we're going to go into the shade Peach Tea. So that's kind of like a medium bronzy color and we're going to do that under the eyes. So I'm going to have Alyssa look up. Just going to go over the under area. So she has like a little bit of smudginess we did with the liner, which is pretty, and that's going to be a good base for the shadow. And actually, I think I want to do like some shimmer under her eyes, so we'll do this and then I'll top it with shimmer. So we're going to we'll branch out. We use the Natasha Denona bronze palette, so we'll grab this color. This is this little guy. Have Alyssa look up again. I think shimmer under the eye is so pretty. Just makes things bright. Okay, so just like a nice little dusting. How you doing?
Good.
Good. You're doing great. Okay. See how it just kind of made her eye like sparkly? Just like reflective. I'm just all about it. I love the shimmer. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna add a little bit of mascara before we do the lips. Let's see, and I just like anything. Generally, we'll do waterproof on people so it doesn't smudge. I think always trying mascara. Since I do the false lashes, like, I don't need all the things that mascara people usually look for. I just really need it to, I like it to build. I like the volumizing ones to go on the, because I still do mascara on the bottom lashes for people. But I generally like volumizing ones and then ones that have good staying power. Like those are what I look for as far as like mascaras over false lashes. Also, because I use disposable brushes, I feel like half of the reason mascaras are so awesome is for the wand it comes with. And since I'm like cutting that out and throwing it away, it like doesn't matter so much. Go ahead and look up. You have nice bottom lashes too. They're like thick and pretty.
I feel like towards my corner of my eyes, they get little.
Like the outside corners.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a thing. I feel like that happens to everybody and it's so random. I don't know
It's
why.
hard for me to put mascara on.
Yeah, they're like not as, mine are like that too. Like I just don't have as many and they're shorter on that little corner. Okay, super pretty. We're gonna do lips. We're gonna do like a bronzy lip for Alyssa today. Do you wear lipstick usually?
I like lip gloss.
Yeah, you're a gloss girl.
Yeah.
Gloss is pretty. I like gloss too. We're gonna do lipstick today, but I will probably put a gloss over it too. So this is the shade Los Angeles. This is by NYX. So NYX has really, really good liners. So I'm going to overline Alyssa's lips just a little bit because I'm doing a nude color. We can do this and it will look nice. Just to give her a little extra fullness in the lips. So we're just going to go slightly, like you can see I'm going slightly under the natural lip. So this is the trick with overlining. You don't want to overline everything, it will look weird. So you only want to overline like this area, like the little pucker, like you know how everyone in pictures does like the kissy faces because it's like cute. It makes your lips look big, obviously, but it's like the little poutiness. Let's add a teeny bit more fullness. Because we can and it's fun. I like to do that. So I'm doing like a deeper nude color on Alyssa. And whenever you do a darker colors or when you do a lipstick, it tends to make the lips look a little bit smaller. So that's why I sometimes will like to overline or to give kind of a little bit of poutiness to the lips if I'm doing something like that. If you only do a gloss naturally, because it's light reflective, it naturally makes your lips look fuller. And I'll just do a little bit at a time. Sometimes I'll kind of see like what's working on their face as I go. And like I said, I like to start in the center and get that little poutiness, and then I just sort of connect things. Like I'll bring the sides up if I need to, but once you hit the corners, you're not wanting that part to look bigger, so. And then I fill it in slightly always. So what I like to do is I'll kind of like wiggle the brush to bring things in. And then I'll grab a makeup brush and I'll just feather it. And I'm going over it with lipstick, so it doesn't matter, but. Okay, so now, before I do lipstick, I want to clean up the edges. So I'm going to grab my foundation that I did on Alyssa. And I'm going to grab a little concealer brush. And I'm just going to make the edges nice and sharp. Sometimes lip liners, when you sharpen them, they're like nice and precise, but sometimes when you sharpen them, I feel like they have little bubbles in them or something like that, if that makes sense, like when the product was poured and they don't make a clean line. And so if that happens, then I'll clean it up with concealer just to make it look nice. Perfect. If you're overlining the lips too, I really like a clean edge because you don't want it to look like you overlined them. Okay, so that is looking great. Now we're going to go in with a lipstick, and I'm just going to choose a brown toned nude. On this one, let's see. Let's do this guy. This one's pretty. Same lip brush. This nude will be really pretty with the eye color we did and the cheek color. So I like to base the cheek color off of what my lips are going to be, like what's complementary. So with this, I knew I would do a similar toned lip to this. So I did more of like a peachy lip, or a peachy cheek, I mean. If I knew I was going to do this sort of brown toned lip on her today, I probably wouldn't do like a rose petal pink lip or something like that. So if you are the type that likes to like choose your look as you go, I would do blush last. If you're the type that has a look in mind, it doesn't matter when you do it. Okay, so that is looking great. We're going to add a little bit of gloss. This is Buxom Gloss. I love Buxom glosses so much. This one's White Russian. This is a really good shade. Okay, we're going to add this to the center, just the center of the lips. And this one's more like a nude color. It's kind of more sheer than the other Buxom glosses, but it's really pretty. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the brows, but I think we have a question. Okay, what contours do you like for your kit for the palest of pale skins? So for the palest of pale, the contour color I use, let me see if I have it now and I can show you. I don't, I think I pulled it. I like the Huda Beauty Obsessions, I think they're her Tantours. I like the shade Fair. So that's what I use. And it's more cool tone than any of like the bronzy contours that I've ever used, but it's not like a true cool, but it's what I use for fair skin. Because I don't always contour fair skin. I contour fair skin if we're really sculpting things, and I tend to do a little bit more of a bronzy look for that. But a lot of times on fair skin, I just like love the way like the fairest of fair, like your porcelain skin, I just think it's so pretty. So I love more to do looks where it's like a lot of blush and like rose toned and like lips and stuff like that, and like highlighting more so than like contouring, if that makes sense. So, but I really like the Huda Beauty one. Okay, so Megan has, looking at her brows, she has really great brows. There's just like a couple little areas I want to add some hairs. This is the Anastasia Brow Wiz. This is medium brown. And I like to start underneath because I really like to start kind of shaping the brow. I'll just do little strokes. And one thing with brows that I like, I don't like to bring the tail down too far. I feel like it closes in the eyes. I almost like it to be more straight, if that makes sense. So I'll just kind of wing out the tail a little bit. And it's generally higher than people's brow hairs. So people's brow hairs kind of grow down like that. So I usually brush them up and then extend the tail that way. So I'm just going to turn her to make sure we're even. And sometimes before we start, I will go in and I will like shape their brows. Not perfectly because I'm not waxing them, but I'll clean up with tweezers like a lot of the hairs. Megan's brows look pretty good, and I didn't clean them up today. It just depends how much time. Okay. So that's looking good. So the next, what I like to do is I like to figure out where my arch is going to be. And hers, it's pretty clear where it is. So I'm just going to connect the arch to the tail. I generally like the look of brushed up brows. Like this is what I'll do at the beginning to see their brows. But then sometimes as I'm working on it, I'll brush them down so I can get a cleaner line on the skin. And we're just going to do really natural brows for Alyssa. I almost called you Megan. I feel like you could be a Megan. I don't know why. Oh, I think Megan just answered a question or asked a question. That's why Megan's in my head. Do you ever get told you look like a certain celebrity?
No, but when I was little, I was in Hollywood and some person like grabbed me and tried to take a picture of me.
Oh.
I don't know who they thought I was, but
oh, they didn't tell you?
no.
Oh, that's funny.
I thought I was being kidnapped, so I just like screamed and
oh my gosh.
ran to my mom. I was really little.
How old are you?
Probably like 8.
Oh my gosh, what if you were being kidnapped
I
and that was
know.
like their sneaky way? That's scary. That's so funny. It's funny when people come and take pictures of little kids.
Mm-hmm.
People always do that when we're on vacation. They always come to my baby and they're like, they want to take a picture with her.
Oh. How old is she?
She's a year and a half.
Oh. My niece is 4 months.
Oh, cute. Oh, that's so fun. It's like such a fun age when they're just so cute. Because at 4 months, they're like way smiley and like giggly and stuff. That's cute. Okay. So I'm literally just drawing like teeny little hairs. I really like Megan's brows, like I said. So I'm just doing a little bit of corrective work. So this is what I do to get a natural brow. I just sort of just do little tiny strokes, and I look at the brow as I'm going to see where there's holes essentially, or where I can do little lifts or little lines to sort of reshape things slightly. You can see the difference between the two brows. They both look very natural, honestly. I did like just baby little strokes and hardly anything, and I'm kind of brushing it through as I go, but this one just looks a lot more sculpted. This is another thing I think that's hard for you guys to see with my lights, because they just sort of shine through the brows, if that makes sense. So if I'm doing a very natural brow, I just love pencils like this. And sometimes I'll set it a little bit with a brow powder. In fact, I generally do just for staying power unless they have dry skin. But with these lights, like to get it to look on camera, I'll kind of do both. Like sometimes I'll do a really natural brow, but with a lot of lights or flash photography, depending on what the makeup is for, you need to do like a lot of powder over the brow to get it to look good. So stuff like that's good for you guys to know that are makeup artists, but also too, like, because I know most people watching the videos are just people that enjoy doing makeup and do their own makeup. If you're doing your makeup for an event, like photos or something like that, it is good to know how things are photographed or how things look in different lights, so you know like how much to put on or what things to focus on. Okay. It's looking great. I'll show you guys how I set it with powder. We'll do a natural look today. Okay. Oh, someone says your model was really pretty before and she looks marvelous now.
Oh, thank you.
Aw, and she said you picked some pretty shades for her. Yes, Alyssa is naturally very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna do, I love Anastasia. All things brows, I'm very loyal to Anastasia. She has really great stuff. Other brands have good things too, but I feel like she just nailed her shades, and I love her Pro palettes. So this is the Pro Brow Palette. So this is what I always use, but they sell all of these individually. So generally what I do is I'll use one of her brow pencils, and then I'll just kind of hold this up and see if I want to alter the shade. The brow pencil we did matches Alyssa's roots perfectly. It's very neutral. It's not warm. It's not really cool. But she has a lot of golden in her hair. So if I wanted to warm up the brows, that would look good. I can also leave it like this. But I will show you what they look like warmed up. So caramel's the warmest color. So if we did this caramel color, it would very much so like warm up the brows. I think that's a little more than I want to do. So I'm going to go in the blonde color, like this darker shades. They're all dual shades, so they have like a lighter and a darker. So the darker one in the blonde is pretty warm. Could mix it a teeny bit with caramel. Maybe this color in the caramel is a good one too. And then I use like a flat brush and I just like swipe up. Like instead of doing little hairs, I'm essentially just dusting the color over the brows. If that makes sense. But see how it's like changing the color? It's warming it up. And you want to go in with such a light hand because the powder can really pick up. And even though powder is like pretty natural, it can look dark. And I don't want too sculpted of a brow for Alyssa today. See how pretty that is? Like, look at the subtle difference. See how this one's more like very neutral, and it almost lightened it, right? Like adding that tone from this color in her brow, that's like perfect for her. It just looks softer and more professional. I feel like that's a huge, like massive thing. If you have warmth in your hair, especially if you're blonde, try topping your brows with a warm color. It's like magic. Another thing you guys can do is use like a brow gel. So like the little mascara tubes, but for your brows, you can buy the caramel one's really good. So Anastasia sells one in caramel. Anything warm like that, or Benefits, that is it the Give Me Brow. Theirs are really good too. Like if you buy a warm one, you can top whatever you do on your brows with that warm color, and it's super pretty. I especially love it if for people that have really full brows, like the really full bushy brow trend. It's hard to get a really full big brow nice and defined, like shape it out without it looking so heavy. But it's a really good trick to top it with a warmer color or a warm brow gel. It just softens it. So that is what I like to do. Okay, Alyssa, are you ready to see?
I'm ready.
I'm excited to show you. Before I show Alyssa, let's have Kelly show you guys. So we will flash back to Alyssa's before so you guys can see again. Oh, everyone's giving you compliments. You're so pretty. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks really good.
You look gorgeous.
Thank
Very
you.
glam, Alyssa.
Looks really good. I like the eyelashes.
They're nice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Those look good on it. Those demi wispies, they're the Lash, I'm telling you guys. They're very, very natural. If you're a lash person and you're like way into the lashes, they'll be too like light for you, but they're so pretty.
Looks really good.
You look gorgeous. Thank you for being my model.
Of course. Thanks for allowing me to come.
Oh, of course. And thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best. There's a delay in our chat, so say your goodbyes and your comments to Alyssa now. If I missed your question, we will be back again on Thursday with another tutorial. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.